Hello, greetings everybody. I want to welcome you here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So I forgot to take these off before I started, but they're off now. So I want to welcome you here to Monday night's look back at a classic rock album. This is the show I do every Monday night, in which I take an album that is 15 years or greater older and has reached that status of either at least a high 2, a 1, or a masterpiece. The album I've chosen to do this week is one I bought recently but I've owned for a long time, and that is Black Sabbath's debut album. Fantastic album, lots of good stuff going on here. I forgot how good this is, kind of faded in my mind because I hadn't had it for a while. I don't even know what happened to my copy. I think somebody actually took it. So I did have this originally on vinyl. Then I bought it on around the same time when I started collecting CDs. I bought it again, and then I'm sure somebody got a hold of it, and that's why it's disappeared. Or possibly, I know this might be, maybe it happened, but I don't believe so. I could have bought it in cassette, and that's why I don't know where it is. So anyways, this was their debut album by Black Sabbath, released February the 13th. 1970, the first of two for that 1970 year. Regent Sound Studios in London, about 38 minutes or so in length, on the Warner Brothers label and on the Vertigo label here, or not here, but in the States, sorry. And Roger Bain is the producer. So there's 5 tracks on here, including 2 with suites. So the overall feel of this album is doomy, gloomy, dark, foreboding, heavy as hell, melodic, lots of that going on here. And all of the instruments on here, the drums, the bass, the guitar, even the harmonica, are all very forward. Production's a little bit weak. Sound is not great. It's not bad, but it's not great. And it's got that kind of at some points a little bit of a disconnect feel to it, but overall it's just a fantastic album. So you got the opening track, which is called Black Sabbath, self-titled album, self-titled song. It starts out with a kind of a creepy rainstorm with some bells going off. Then it gets creepier and some real heavy, creepy vocals by Ozzy here. The lyrics are also a little on the creepy side too. The guitar is melodic, it's deep, it's creepy, it's heavy. The overall atmosphere of this song is really kind of very heavy, scary, melodic, dark feel for the whole song. I do not mind this song. I used to not like it a lot, and that's probably the reason why this album was held back. But I've grown to like it more as I listened to it more. Even towards the end, before I lost or the album was taken, I still was not liking it too much then, but I was starting to feel a little bit better about it then. The next track out is The Wizard, probably one of the more recognizable tracks from the album. It's heavy with some great riffing, some really heavy guitar parts. The harmonica is also very large and forward here. Drums are very heavy and very dominating on this particular track. The harmonica kind of gives it that creepy feel. The vocals are again strong. This is one of the better tracks on the album as well. Next track up is The Wasp with its 3 suites behind the Wall of Sleep, basically an NIB, although basically it's just a bass solo. So you've got it's kind of heavy, it's melodic, riffing on the guitar with a kind of really strong lead solo part, and then you've got these vocals which again are dominating and heavy, and then you have the drums which are also very forward and very dominating as well. There's a heavy in the second part, the second soliloquy, which is basically there's this heavy solo bass part which is one of his best, I think, by Geezer Butler. And then you have the NIB, which is a very heavy, riff-driven song with a very heavy solo, really catchy vocals to it. Probably my favorite track on the album. Next up is Wicked World, which kind kind of different than the first three songs. It's a little faster pace, more of like a medium pace. I wouldn't call it speed metal or anything. It's got some heavy drums, bass as part of the guitar opening as well. And you got this melodic, heavy, bluesy vocal music part that is just strong. And then this heavy guitar solo with no instrumentation. So it's kind of like in trying to think of the album I'm thinking of. Oh, there's a there's a Led Zeppelin album where everything stops and it's just a guitar solo. It's kind of like that here. Just really similar to that. Or in Rush's Fountain of Lameth, where they do that tar pits and nar pits. I think that's what it's called. There's a drum part where there's no other instruments going on as well. It's kind of different. It's like they stop the music, play the solo, start the music. It's kind of weird, but it's really quite heavy. Wicked World. The next song is called A Bit of Finger, Sleeping Village, and Warming. These are three what they might call suites. So it starts out with a kind of slow, melodic, acoustic kind of guitar-like sound. And then there's some very creepy vocals with it. And then you get this, then it jumps up and becomes this heavy guitar and bass riff kind of dominating for the rest of the song. The heavy guitar riff is really beefy, really thick. And then you have this heavy guitar solo, which, you've got two kind of guitars going, one following the other, so the solos are almost like echoing each other. So there's like two of them, even though it's probably both. They're both Iommi just playing, and they've just spaced them a little bit. Then you've got this heavy dominated bass part, which I think is quite common from the throughout this album. And the drums are very forward here and strong as well. And you get that throughout the entire album. So for me, Black Sabbath's debut, heavy, dark, melodic, almost a bluesy feel at times to it, but just the bass really adds a real heavy depth to this album. Excuse me. Yeah, so really good. I highly recommend it. This is the beginning for Sabbath, one of the most iconic heavy metal bands of all time. Nobody was really doing this stuff when they started out. Not this heavy anyways. So, anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of a look back at a classic rock album. If you have, please hit the like and subscribe. That's much appreciated. Don't forget the notification bell above my head. And if you want to make any comments about the album or Black Sabbath or anything I've said, you can put that in the comment section below. We will be back next Monday for another look back at a classic rock album. So we'll see you then. Take care and goodbye.